Hey guys, and welcome to my quick review and comparison between the SE4 and the SE Laser Strike. The SE4 here is a knife I've had for a few years. It was my first SE and it served me really quite well. I've got no massive complaints about it, but there is definitely a significant reason why I've gone from the SE4 to the SE Laser Strike. Now, I did shoot this video originally outside, but I felt that reshooting it indoors was a pretty good idea, so you guys can actually get a better look at the two knives up nice and close. So while I go over the stats of the knives, the weights, etc., pardon me, I'll show you some of the footage that I did shoot outside. So let's take a look at the length of the knife first and foremost. The SE Laser Strike comes in at 10 inches or 25.4 centimeters. The SE4 comes in at 9 inches or 22.8 centimeters. The cutting edge of the Laser Strike is 4.5 inches or 11.4 centimeters. The SE, that's the SE Laser Strike, the SE4 comes in at 4.1 inches or 10.4 centimeters. The width of the blade, pardon me, on both knives is exactly the same, 0.188 inch or 4.7 millimeters. The weight of the Laser Strike is 9.5 ounces or 270 grams versus the SE Laser 4 at 8 ounces, which is 227 grams. So you can see there that the Laser Strike is a little bit longer by exactly an inch. You get a little bit more cutting edge. The width of the blades are both exactly the same, but because the SE Laser Strike is that little bit bigger, you're also carrying a little bit more weight. Let's go back over here and have a look at the knives up and close. Or actually, before we go over the knives, let's go over the sheath in a little bit more detail. So this is the SE4 sheath that I have, nice and sturdy Kydex sheath. You can hear how well the knife goes into the sheath, and it definitely stays in there. There's no chance of it jolting around or falling out by accident. I have the MOLLE attachment here. It's a great little attachment. The only problem I have with the attachment is this Velcro bit. Velcro definitely doesn't last forever. I'd much rather maybe a button or something there rather than the Velcro, and that's what I might end up doing myself, because you can see that this Velcro starts to become quite crappy. Apart from that, the sheath is absolutely fantastic, protects the knife really well. You've got your little drainage hole. Absolutely no complaint about the sheath itself. On the Laser Strike here, very similar type sheath, the Kydex. Now, I haven't got the MOLLE attachment, I've got the belt clip attachment. I will probably get the MOLLE, however, I think that the belt clip attachment is made pretty damn well. You can see it'll definitely sit in there, and it's definitely nice and sturdy, and there's no chance of the belt slipping out by accident. One bonus that the Laser Strike sheath has, which the SE4 sheath doesn't have, is here this retention screw. So, you know, the knife goes in there, comes out, and then again it's nice and sturdy, and there's no problems there. But if you bring this screw to the up position, from here it pretty much locks the knife in there. So now it's near impossible to take the knife out. It's not a must-have. It's a nice feature. I never thought it's something that I would have needed on the SE4, simply because it holds the knife perfectly fine, but it's a nice little addition to the sheath. So that's the sheath out of the way for the SE4 and the Laser Strike. Let's have a look at the knives side by side. You can see straight away the difference in with the knives. You have the spear spear point here on the Laser Strike, and you have the drop point type blade here on the SE4. Let's have a look side by side. You can see that extra length of the SE4 on the blade, but if you have a look, like I mentioned beforehand, the thickness is exactly the same of the blade. but the handle definitely is a little bit different, and this is one of the main reasons that I decided to get the SE Laser Strike, and why I like the SE Laser Strike over the SE4. The SE4 is a great little knife. It's absolutely fantastic. The length of the handle's not too bad for me, but definitely the thickness of the handle is on the thinner side, especially when you compare it to the SE Laser Strike, which fits in my hand that little bit better and is just that much more comfortable, especially for prolonged use. The other things about the SE4, which I feel are okay, not great, is over here you have the notch where the finger goes, which gives you great control of the knife, but it's very, very close to the blade. Now, in saying that, it's nothing to worry about. I've never cut myself. I've never really heard of anyone cutting themselves, but definitely it wouldn't take too much. So it's not a deal breaker. It works pretty damn well, but when you compare it to the Laser Strike, first and foremost, again, look at the difference here. This is, again, that much more comfortable, and again, it offers you that little bit more protection. So it's just done that much better on the SE Laser Strike. The jimping, I believe it's called, on the back of the knife, you can see on the Laser Strike, it's just that little bit bigger, and again, it just adds to that comfort and better usability of the knife. So the overall look, the SE4 is a great knife. I definitely think it's a little bit more of a speciality knife. Maybe when you're going out hunting, and you know you're going to be using it for game, or it's just kind of a nice knife to have around. Whereas the SE Laser Strike is kind of your go-to, do everything survival type knife. It's not quite as big and heavy as the SE5, as the SE5, sorry, but it's that one little step down, and I think it's one hell of a great survival knife. The other things which make it a great survival knife is from here you've got the divot there for the bow drill, so when you put it in the sheath from here, when you're setting up a bow drill, you can use the stick and connecting to the handle of the knife, which saves you a little bit of time. It's just a really, really nice feature. The other great little survival thing about this knife is from here you might have noticed on the sheath washer, and you've got these screws here on the handle, and these actually come undone with the washer. So if I just undo those, loosen them up. Now when you first get the knife, you have to know that you're probably going to need another washer, or at least a screwdriver, to break the tension of the screws and to help the screws on the other side from spinning. But once you've done that at least once, you can actually just use your hand to keep the screws on the other side in place without too much drama. And I'll undo the other side. Cool. So from here you can see you've got a fire starter, so a flint, and I've used this once or twice just to test it out. Maybe you can see that it's been used. Apart from that, I just used to test it. It's definitely an emergency type tool. And on the other side of the handle from here, you see you've got flint. A kindling here to help start a fire. So again, this knife is really, in my opinion, designed with survival in mind, and you really can't go wrong with it. And that's kind of the reason why I'll be hanging on to the SE Laser Strike as opposed to the SE4. I'll definitely keep this in my kit bag, but when we go out camping or what have you, it'll probably go to a friend which doesn't have a knife, or the girlfriend, so she can learn some bushcraft, and the SE Laser Strike will be my go-to knife. Guys, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the comparison between the knives. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to let me know. Again, thanks for watching. Bye.